Okay, so I just pulled up the stuff I want to talk about. So we are still kind of using Teams this year. As of right now, I'm not going to be doing what we did with Teams a couple of years ago, where all your assignments are there. Everything you have to do is on Teams. But I do still utilize Teams every single day. I just do it a little bit differently. It's actually there for you guys to get help. What I'm getting at is if you were absent, I don't think anybody was absent yesterday, right? But let's say somebody was absent yesterday. What do most kids do the day after they were absent and they come back to school? What's the first thing they say to their teacher? What I miss. And that usually takes, I mean, you missed 40 minutes of class. So that would take a decent amount of time for me to get you caught up. So what I do is I use Teams to help us figure out what is going on every single day. So you guys at this point, do you all know how to get into Teams? Okay, if you don't, let's work on that another time. But you go to your team, and the very first thing that pops up is like the discussion or the conversation area. And here you will see every single day I do this. So here's what we did yesterday. I title it so you understand, like you don't even have to search through it. Thursday, September 8th. And it tells you what we did. Just a quick, like not a long summary. Says we picked up your parent contact sheet, class syllabus, and chapter 1 packet. So you know that if you were absent, you need to go grab a parent contact sheet, a class syllabus, and a chapter 1 packet. Then it kind of goes through what I did. I explained the contact sheet and the syllabus, and then we started chapter 1 notes on page 2. I also list there, it will always be bolded and highlighted what the homework was. So your homework was no, it wasn't. Your homework was to get the paper signed. And then I also, sometime throughout the day, which will probably often be your class, it's your class right now, I record one lesson. So I take the time to go into Zoom, set it up, share the screen, and I record one lesson every day. Because in theory, I have 4 classes. In theory, they're all the same, so it doesn't matter if it's your class or some other class. I hit record one period. And then I upload it to YouTube, and then I post it right here. And here is yesterday's lesson. So it's a 34-minute YouTube video of yesterday's class. So obviously some of the jokes might be different in this class versus the one you actually would have been sitting in, but the content's the same. So anytime you're absent, everything that we did for that day is right there. Yeah.
What class was that?
This was the class before yours yesterday. So 5, 6. So it will most likely be 5, 6, or you guys that it gets recorded for. But that's not important. The thing I'm trying to show you is instead of me taking 20 minutes or even just 5 minutes, 5 minutes is a lot if there's only 40 minutes of the class to talk to one kid about what they missed. Now, anytime you're absent, you can either ask me, Mrs. Ritz, what did I miss? And my answer will be check Teams, or don't bother asking me and just check Teams. It will be there every day. So what do I expect you to do with this information? So if you're just absent one day, going to a doctor's appointment, dentist appointment, or you're legit sick, do I expect you that one day to go in here and check and do it all before you come to school? That is not why I do this. It's there so when you're ready to make it up, you can make it up. The other reason I do this is there's sometimes when you're out a long time, couple days. And back in the olden days, you might not know this, olden days meaning before COVID, your parents might have called and said, this kid's gonna be out for 4 days. Can I have any homework for them? And so this is what I'll do. Tell them to check Teams is all I'll do. In that case, I do expect you to get some of the work done while you're out, if you're capable. Obviously, if you're so sick you can't do work, I get it. I'm not asking you to do this if you're too sick, but if you're just taking some time off, especially like those mental health days, I know we all take them. The problem with taking a day off is then you have 2 days of work to do the next day. This is one way to avoid having 2 days of work to do. So it's all there. Always check Teams. The other thing you can use this for is when you're checking Teams. I if you forgot what was for homework. So if you forgot what was for homework last night, you could have checked here, homework was to get your paper signed. So it's all there, nice, easy. Hopefully it comes in handy, even just once or twice, it's worth it for me. Any questions about this? You don't think so? So I'm not doing it to like make you do work remote. Like that's not what it is. It's just to help you out to stay caught up if you do happen to get sick. Speaking of, if you're absent, so let's say you were absent, you can go. So check Teams to see what you missed. See, that's how it works. Where was I gonna go with this? If you are absent, so let's say your homework last night was not just to get paper signed, let's say it was to do page 10. If your homework last night was to do page 10 and you were absent today, Friday, when would you turn it in? Monday, right? That's common sense. If you're absent, then it's due the next time you come to school. Okay, how about this? What happens if you're absent today and your homework is page 11? When do you do page 11? So you're absent. Like I said, you could still check Teams and do it, but I don't expect you to. If you're just absent for one day, whatever. So just like a normal whatever, if you're absent Friday, page 11's for homework. You come to school, you ask your teacher what I missed. I tell you to check Teams on Monday. So when do you turn in page 11? Tuesday. So if you're absent Friday and there's homework given on Friday, you find out what the homework was on Monday and you turn it in on Tuesday. What happens if you don't turn it in on Tuesday? In theory, but there is no such thing as late earth science homework. Homework for earth science, because it's graded on completion, I told you that yesterday, right? Did I tell you that yesterday? Yeah. Okay, so I told you it was graded on completion. Couple questions, 5, 6, maybe 10 questions. We go over them first thing the next day. After we've gone over them, I don't accept them late. For earth science homework, it is what it is. It's either done or not done, and I don't change the grades later on. So there is no such thing as late homework. And some of you are like, what if I forget my homework one day? 1 or 2 zeros are not going to hurt an average that has 25 100s on homework. Because remember, it's so easy to get 100 by just doing it. So 1 or 2 zeros will bring you down to like a 97 instead of the 100. So you'll be okay if you miss 1 or 2. So that's my plan. Always check Teams. The other thing I'm going to recommend is, do you all know how to get into Power School? If you don't, you need to figure that out. You can ask a teacher. You can ask Mrs. Slocum in the office. The secretaries, or not the secretaries, the ladies in the library can help you. Just about anybody can help you check into Power School. I am going to highly recommend you check Power School all the time. Okay. It's just a good way to keep track of where you are, because you might be getting your papers back and you're like, yay, an 8 out of 10. Oh, I got a 6 out of 7, 5 out of 8. Not so bad. But sometimes you don't even realize that 5 out of 8 is still failing. Because actually, assuming it's pretty close to failing. If it's not, it's a pretty low grade, even though you only missed 3. And your grades kind of might sneak up on you, or you're like, oh, I just missed a couple of homeworks, but those couple of homeworks added up. And then all of a sudden you have a lower grade than you thought you had. It's not a good idea just to wait till your 5-week reports and then just say, ooh, that was kind of bad. So check Power School often. And I know I told a few of you this as well. Check Power School to make sure I didn't make any mistakes. I am not saying I don't check my work, but I do check my work. But do you know how easy it is to plug in a 10 instead of a 100, or a 1 instead of a 10, just forgetting a 0? It happens. Check your grades. If I ever make a mistake, just kindly message me or say, hey, Mrs. Rich, I think you made a mistake. So do that for me, okay? How you guys with this stuff?
Okay.
All right. Did I tell you how to get out for a fire drill?
Yeah.
Okay, so you were the class I remembered. All right, out the door, through outside. If you're at the bathrooms, just go to the one out there. And that's that. Let's finish up earth science for today. What time do we leave in this period? 27, you silly goose.
I said yes.
Yes, you did. Now it all is coming back. All right, so now all right, so we're on page 2. Just a quick review though. We'll go through what is an observation. Something you use your 5 senses for. You just simple, nice and easy. Don't think about it. Just state something that is blatantly right there in front of you. What's an inference?
Guess based on an observation.
It is a guess based on that observation. So you see someone wearing a hoodie. That's an observation. They're wearing a hoodie. One inference, guess based on that. You could guess that they were cold. Is everyone who's wearing a hoodie always cold? No, my daughter is dying to wear a hoodie because that's what she's comfortable in. She just knows her school doesn't have air conditioning, so she might die if she wore a hoodie. So just because someone's wearing a hoodie does not mean they're cold. It's just a guess, not a random guess, a guess based on an observation. As long as it makes sense, you're good. So that's an observation inference. Did we get to prediction? No?
Yeah.
That was the last one we did. So I'll put that one back up. What is, in case somebody didn't get through. So the prediction is still an inference. It's still a guess, but it's a specific guess about the future. 10th graders and myself, not gonna lie, tend to use the word gonna, like going to, it's gonna happen, it's going to happen. When they're talking about a prediction, it's like it's gonna rain tomorrow, or it's gonna be sunny tomorrow. Those are all predictions. They're all guesses based on observations, but they're about the future. So like if I saw somebody wearing a hoodie, that's an observation. They're wearing a hoodie. An inference could be that they are cold. A prediction about them is they're gonna get warm. They're gonna be too hot. Do you have to use the word gonna? No, but it does help. Anything that you use the word gonna is about the future. And yes, oh no, you totally can. Please don't tell your ELA teachers I'm telling you it's okay to use the word gonna, though. They might like not approve. Yeah, Sam, right?
Gunna is also an artist.
Is it?
Yeah, unfortunately, he got locked up on a RICO case.
I don't know what any of that means.
RICO is an investigation of illegal sales of illegal things like people or guns or
All right.
or yeah, it's just like an organization like of illegal activity.
All right.
And he got busted on the RICO.
So gunna's not a good thing?
Yeah, gun is not gonna.
That's a good prediction. You got it, Sam. You know what gonna means. Okay, GTK, bro. Good to know. Sorry, that is just something I say all the time. Ask my kids. I love GTK. This word or GTK? Good to know. Dude, do I have to explain these things to you guys? I think you guys are the ones who have to explain those abbreviations to me, like Sam just did. All right, so this is the first word we don't.
Yeah, this is other person, Baby Tron. A RICO case is building up on him for using an MIS6, which is a form of swiping, which is scanning like old people.
So now I know, so now I'm safe.
Yeah, so if the RICO case builds up enough evidence to like take him to court and like press charges on him, He's probably gonna be in jail for like 300 years.
Yeah, he's gonna be.
He's gonna be old.
Okay, let's keep going. What is the word? Does anybody even know how to say that word? Cyclic, I think. That's how I've always said it. Cyclic or cyclic. I'm not actually sure which one. I think they're both probably good. What do you hear when you hear either way? Cycle. So a cyclic event.
Repeating.
Yes, is a repeating event. Now, I'm not talking about anything that happens in a cycle. If you just caught that, I almost said water cycle, because that's what I'm not talking about is the water cycle. The water cycle is not an event. The water cycle is a process, and it does happen in that circular pattern. But I'm talking about like an event that happens at this time, this day. Your letter days in schools are cyclic. What does that mean?
Repeating.
They repeat. A, B, C, D, E, F, A, B, C, D, E, F. Those are cyclic. Because they're cyclic or cyclic, whatever way you want to say it, it makes them easy to predict. So when something happens in this cycle, I can predict when it's going to happen again and accurately predict it. So if you wanted to know your birthday is coming up in October and you're like, wonder what letter day it is, because you're going to go out and you're going to get your permit and you're wondering if you're going to miss lab or gym. Could you figure out which one it is?
Probably.
Not probably.
Yes.
Yes. How could you figure it out? You go to a calendar, which I know you guys can't see. I have one here, but you go A, B, C, D, E, F, A, B, C, D, E, F, and you figure it out. So something that happens in that repeating pattern, you can nail it down to the day when it's going to happen again. Yes, Sam.
I don't have school.
Okay. Wait, are you Austin?
Yeah.
Okay, Austin, go ahead.
Like the February 29th.
Yeah, like February 29th, the leap year.
The only reason I know is because
You know, weird enough, it's the earth science teacher in Franklinville's daughter's birthday too. It's so random. February 29th happens in a pattern. I just learned that February, did I just,
say your daughter.
no, in Franklinville. I don't teach
science teacher's daughter.
Yeah. I'm Pioneer's earth science teacher.
How do you know?
Because I used to teach in Franklinville and we had kids the same year. She had hers in February, I had mine. She had hers February 29th and I had mine in December 27th. Anyway, so moving on, off topic. February 29th happens every 4 years, except, and I didn't know this, in any year that ends in 00. There, unless it's divisible by 4. So weird enough, yeah. So the year 2000 ended in 00, but because 2000 is divisible by 4, 500, it was a leap year. But the year 2100, so 2100 that year,
2100.
is it 2100? Yeah, I'm sorry, blowing my mind right now. Will not be a leap year, even though it's a year that, so if your mom won't have her birthday
Wait, so
that
will
year.
it come before or after? Will it be 5 or 3 years?
No, neither. It won't be for 8 years.
What?
Wait,
Yeah.
how old is your mom?
She's
No,
probably
she
like
is-
8.
No.
Yes.
She's
She's had like 8
12.
birthdays.
12.
Well, your
Oh,
mom's
that's crazy.
older than me then.
How does
Oh,
that work?
yeah.
Like how many years, like if she had a birthday, like how many years would you say?
She's like 40-ish.
60,
Oh,
Mom's 60.
maybe 50.
Shall I call her and ask and let her know that you think she's 60?
yeah, you should.
No.
I need to hear this.
But yeah, anyway, just fun fact. We can talk about that when we get to astronomy again. But anyway, so we're talking about cycles, things that happen in a repeating and predictable pattern. So moving on, can you think of anything else that's cyclic?
Yeah.
I guess, yeah, I mean, it happens every whatever. Sam, you got another one?
Wait, every other?
No, any,
A circle.
another. No, so we need an event.
Christmas.
Like what? So that's a process, so not process, but you are right, they do happen in patterns. But we need these events So like something that happens on this day.
That's
I-
It's voting. It's voting.
Yeah, yeah. Think earth signs. Can we move on to earth signs? I don't care about these
Oh,
other
yeah.
things. No, Seth? Oh, did I just blow your mind with the earth signs part?
No, you like, I was listening to what you were saying and it's just like. no,
Sorry.
No more words for you.
Eclipses happen in a pattern. You guys remember, you guys must have been pretty little, the young when the solar eclipse happened, but you remember it
No, that was
probably.
a couple of years ago.
It was I think 5 years ago. It was
Yeah.
4 or 5 years ago.
That's-
So you're pretty young.
I've seen it.
Yeah, you would. So, and there's another one coming, 2 years from now or next year, I can't remember. But anyway, there's going to be one soon. They can predict them. They're not as easy as going A, B, C, D, E, F, but people can get out a calendar and figure out when. One more, Sam.
Earth's rotation.
Yeah, absolutely. How long it takes the earth to rotate and when sunrise is and when sunset is predictable and happens in a pattern. What?
The moon.
Yes, the phases of the moon. So whether, so I believe tonight is a full moon.
Yeah, it was really bright.
It was super bright. I got up in the middle of the night last night and I was looking to see what light was on outside and it was just the moon. So those happen in a cycle. So again, like if you want to figure out what phase of the moon it will be on your birthday, you could. I don't know if you will, but you could. Yes.
So for Christmas last year, I got a telescope, like,
Uh-huh.
and I used it one night to look like almost full,
Uh-huh.
and it was like really good quality. I was really liking it.
Yeah.
I showed my-
That's cool. I had one when I was a kid, but I don't think it ever worked right. And I never got to see anything cool. So I kind of got discouraged, but it is
first
cool.
time I tried using it, like, I could not find it.
I think that's what might have been my problem. All right, we're gonna keep going because some couples of somebody's got me off topic. Austin too. All right, so prediction, another type of prediction that there is a non-cyclic event. So cyclic means happens in a repeating pattern. What do you think non-cyclic is?
It doesn't.
Yeah, so it's still an event and it's still, you might be able to say, okay, it's not like blizzards. Do you know when the next blizzard's gonna be?
No.
No.
I mean, you could tell when an earthquake happens, but like, what is an avalanche?
Okay, but no earthquake, let's stick with the earthquake. In fact, so that is my example. Non-cyclic is an event that occurs randomly. They are hard to predict. And you said earthquake, but why were you hesitating with earthquake?
Well, because like you could, there's like these machines. I forgot
Mhm,
the-
Seismographs.
Yeah, seismograph.
Yep.
You can, like, check-
So they know when it's happening, but they can't predict them.
Yeah.
So, and same thing, and same with a blizzard too. Like, so you might be thinking, well, I can predict that there's going to be an earthquake in California. So or you know there's going to be a blizzard during the winter. But you can't pinpoint it to the day because it doesn't happen in that repeating pattern. Like you won't, same with like a snow day. You might know what letter day your birthday is going to be on, but do you know if it's going to be a snow day that day? No. It might be, might not be. So those are non-cyclic events. And then the last thing for notes that we need to do is classification. And I think you guys are experts at this now. Last year, they told you to classify birds. Finches. All right. So you remember classifying birds.
Yeah.
And you classified birds by the shape of their beaks. So you didn't just randomly say, you're in group 1, you're in group 2, you're in group 3, you're in group 4. You classified them by one of their characteristics. You classified them by their observations. You made an observation about their bird beaks and you put them in a group. This year, we're going to classify rocks. You're going to look at a rock, and if you see big, beautiful crystals, you're going to know that's an igneous rock. If you look at a rock and you see a bunch of other rocks that look like they're glued together, you're going to know that was sedimentary. And if you look at a rock and you see the rock itself has these distinct bands of color, you go, oh, I know that's a metamorphic rock. Don't worry, I'll teach you how to do this. But classification is putting objects in groups based on some observation that is clear as day in front of you. Yeah.
My mom's has like a little metamorphic rock with like 2 holes in it with the, one of the holes is like kind of shaped like a square.
Interesting. All right. So just to be clear on this, so I can classify you. If I looked at you guys, I'd say, okay, everybody over here who's wearing a hoodie, everybody who's not wearing a hoodie over there. That's classifying. So it's looking at, I can see plain as day whether you're wearing a hoodie or not. I don't have to guess. I don't have to make an inference. It's just plain old hoodie, no hoodie. Not, okay, you go over here because you're warm. You go over there because you're cold. That I can't do. I can do it by just hoodie or no hoodie, or pants versus shorts. It has to be something you don't even have to think about.
Like,
You could just see it. With what's back then? I'm afraid to ask you guys. Like, I'm actually afraid you guys have clearly established that back then is different than what I think.
I'm just talking about like in history, like, there's a lot of classification.
Yes. All right, let's do some practice with observation, inference, and prediction, because this is where people get confused. The biggest problem is when I ask you to make an observation, a lot of people make guesses. Almost everybody gets inferences correctly, so that's just a guess. And then predictions, remember, they're a guess about the future. Did we go through any pictures yesterday, or did I skip over them?
Except for the one with your dog.
Okay, so I did establish this picture right here.
No.
I did not.
You showed it in the beginning of it.
Okay, so this is what I want to do. I'm going to show you this picture. And so you guys know a little bit about it because I already told you it's my dog. But I would like you on the next page, so what is that, page 3? There are boxes. And so pick a box, I don't care which box you pick. And I would like you to make 3 observations from this picture, 3 inferences from this picture, and 3 predictions about this picture. I think I have a bigger copy. 3 observations, 3 inferences, 3 predictions. And if you are stuck, first thing I want you to do is flip back and look at the definitions. But if that still doesn't help, go ahead and call me over. That could be an inference.
What do they have outside?
You see that?
I did see it. So, that is Mr. Miga's meteorology class, and they are out testing solar powers.
That looks like an 80-foot black
I think
balloon.
it's 50.
Oh.
You're right, that was an observation. There is like a 480 foot. It is a big balloon. We could have got an instrument to measure it.
Could fit at least one person.
You didn't see it all. You could fit way more than one. Yeah, it's real long. Anybody stuck? Anybody want to admit they're stuck? So remember my hint with predictions, the word gonna. Probably a good start for predictions. Don't you just want to beat stones? Good, good,
That's a
good.
good inference.
And I wasn't talking about this person.
That's a question. Thank you very much, Sam.
We'll get there. This is Rufus. Yup, Rufy.
Not Rufy.
That's, you call him Roofy all the time. That or Handsome. His name is Handsome. And you have to say it like that. You can't just say it like that. No, you said it wrong. Handsome.
I'm so big.
He's always like, how does everybody know my name? All right, give me an observation. Wait, I'm gonna try and remember some more people's names, and which requires me cheating. I totally can't like remember most of them. You started to raise your hands. Yeah. Right. I don't know. You're Emma?
Yes.
Okay, Emma, what do you got?
The dog is next to a man.
The dog is perfect. Somebody could have simplified it, just said there is a dog, there is a man. You're Abby. Abby, what do you got? The man is smiling. I love it. Did anybody write for an observation? The man is happy. Not for an observation, because what would that be?
An emotion.
And-
I don't know if he is.
Right, so that would be then an inference. So you would, the observation is he's smiling. Sam, since you're very into this, what do you got?
The man is very hairy arms.
Wow.
Little fuzzy there, yep, and you're Sam too? What do you got?
They're in a vehicle.
They're in a vehicle, I like it. Izzy?
The dog's coloring is black and brown.
Perfect, the dog is black and brown. Did anybody guess what breed this was as an observation? Did you say, so if you did, it's wrong.
No, of course,
Okay.
not as an observation.
Not as an observation. So you can't tell me what breed this is as an observation. That would make it an inference, because you're just using things you observe, the black and the brown, to then guess what breed it is. Anybody else just have to tell me theirs. Of course. Okay.
The
Sam?
man is wearing a collared shirt.
The man is wearing a collared shirt. He has this circle button thing on it. It's a gray shirt, okay?
Oh, God.
Yep.
The dog is also wearing a collar.
The dog is also wearing a collar. Seth, you got one? Light tan cowboy hat in the back. With a little purple ribbon on it. All right. Who's got some inferences about this? No, I want to hear from some new people. So Jenna, right? Jenna, what do you got? Sunny out. You can see in the back window that it's sunny out. So that's, but how is that an inference and not just an observation? You're right.
You don't know if it's sunny, it could just be. like
Yeah.
light or
It could be that he could be parked in a garage and the light's on. So I like it. It's a guess. No, I heard from you last one. Kaylee? No. Lydia. Who's Kaylee? Kaylee. Kaylee, you got one? They're going somewhere. Yeah. Lydia.
He's walking his dog.
As an inference? I love it. He's happy. That's a good inference. You see a smile, you guess he's happy. Is he? Think he's, is there other time when people smile and you're not necessarily happy?
Yeah.
Plenty of times. Okay, you two. Sam, what do you got?
They could be going to an underground dog fight.
Okay. Seth? The dog likes to be pet. We can just guess that. We don't know that for sure. And you darn well know not all dogs like to be pet. Izzy?
The dog is going to the vet.
Okay, the only problem with that one and the underground fight one, and I just kind of want to ignore that one. It's more like a prediction because it's about the future. And so you tried to be fancy and you replaced the word gonna with going to. So remember, gonna and going to mean the same thing. One more, Austin.
The car is upside down.
Okay, weirdo. Jose, I haven't heard from you in a while. You got an inference, a guess? No? Very, very So if you wrote some down. we were-
No, it's not most of them.
Okay. And I think I know, but I don't want to say the wrong name. That's what I was gonna say. What do you got? Okay, and same thing though, that's probably more like a prediction, or you could say they are on a drive. True, especially why, can anybody make a guess? So, as to what's going on here? They are taking a. Nobody wants to guess what kind of car they're in?
Well, if he is driving, that's illegal.
Based on.
A Tesla? I just did this. Forward.
I'm gonna have to say a Toyota.
Okay, so those, doesn't matter, all of those are good inferences. But, come on, let's use some observations that are in this picture.
I'm guessing they just came back from like a cowboy meeting or something.
Okay, cowboys, because cowboys wear cowboy hats.
It's a cop car.
Oh, he's in a cop car.
Oh, yeah, he is.
Troopers,
Your husband's a cop?
there we go. My husband is a state trooper. He found Rufus while working. I get this text message from him. Just so happens, oh, does anybody want to make an inference as to what kind of dog this is?
A Doberman.
This is a Doberman.
Oh, yeah.
Literally my husband's dream dog. I get sent this picture.
His face.
I
is
get this
awesome.
and I'm like, holy cow. And so I text back, I take it he's coming home with you.
So
Um,
he did that.
He
Yeah,
is
he is
happy.
happy.
He is like on cloud nine. So don't think we just go around taking dogs off the side of the road and making them our pet. We have since found his owner. His owner was an over-the-road truck driver. And his dog jumped out while they were at a rest stop. And he thought he was just in the back sleeping. He got all the way through Ohio. And he's from Kentucky. And realized his dog was gone. And he could not turn around because his trucking company would have charged him $1 a mile every mile he went off his route. So it would have been a good couple $1,000s for him to turn around and come get him. In long story short, he asked if we'd keep him. And 3 years later, to the day, in fact, today was the day that we officially got word that he was ours. So 3 years ago. Yep,
So he just let you guys keep them.
he did. Yep.
That's
What's his
sad.
original?
His original name was Rudy.
Oh,
We just happened to be calling him Rufus, and we couldn't keep the name Rudy because at the time we already had a Ruby dog. So we couldn't have a Rudy and a Ruby.
I see.
We would have kept it, but we couldn't have both.
Maybe put it as like Rody.
Yeah, no, Rufus, and so Rufus was always the name my husband had in his mind for a Doberman. Weird story. There you go.
He's
Yes,
not
Seth.
making up for his face. That's just too
Me
funny.
neither.
I have, well, so same thing kind of happened with my most recent cat. Where my name was because I was gonna spend the night at my house.
Uh-huh.
And